Good morning. This is Sue Scheets from Stampin' with Sushi. Today is Friday, June the 4th, and it is time to put together the card of the week. I'm calling the card the opposite card. So let me switch the camera and we'll double check the supplies and then get going on putting the card together. All right. But before, I want to show you my little bear. So this was in one of our paper pumpkin kits. And when a couple of my sisters were visiting, we thought, hey, wouldn't it be cute because he has a little arm that raises if we put little monthly things that could stick under his arm. And so for June, he's got a couple of butterflies. Isn't that cute? Now, for the longest time, I could not find where I had put the little things he's supposed to hold. And sometimes when I get very organized, I can't remember my organization later on. But one day I picked this up and I was just kind of looking at it and looked underneath, and yes, this is where I put all the monthly things. So the problem was solved. All right, so it's put together Friday, and these are the supplies you should have. A card base that's standard size, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. You should have 1-inch squares of designer paper or cardstock, it doesn't matter, but you need 2 squares cut from each design. So I am using the pansy petal designer paper. So I've got 2 squares that are out of the yellow and 2 squares that are out of the multi-design. And then 2 of those squares you're going to cut on the diagonal. So now you have 4 triangles total, but 2 in the yellow and 2 in the multicolored. Then you're going to need cardstock or designer paper, and it should match or go with the designer paper that you've picked for your 1-inch squares. So I have chosen the same 2 patterns, and they need to be 2 1/8 by 5.5, and basically these are going to cover the front of your card. And they should be something that shows good contrast to get the opposite look. And then you need some sayings and accessories. So this is a saying. I have a little cup here that is words. So anytime I have a spare word or something that I haven't used in anything, I put it in there. And I found this happy birthday I thought would work. And it's kind of got like a Calypso coral around the edge, so I found one of my little pansies that I cut out of the designer paper that I thought went with that. And then just for fun, on 1/2, I'm going to put a half of a vinyl doily on there. So we'll see how that turns out. So hopefully you have your supplies and we can get started. I'm going to kind of move everything over to the side, get these little direction sheets out of the way. And my extra supplies I'll put over here. And we'll start out with our card base. So the next thing you're going to need are your 2 pieces of cardstock or designer paper, and they are going to fit, butt up against each other and totally fit on the front of the card. So let me get those attached. So what are you thinking of this pansy set so far? I'll tell you what, I'm in love with it. I, have been using it for a full week now, actually like a week and a half. And I just think it's lovely, and it has a lot of different uses. So I'll have one more week with this and see if I can come up with some totally different ways to use it. You're not too late, Donna. I just started assembling the card, so good morning. Hope you're having a good day so far. Thank you for sharing these videos. All right, so I'll put this on the other side. There. So I have that set. Now, because I'm going to use this doily underneath my squares, I'm going to put it on next. And I'm going to raise it up so it's not exactly in the center. And the really neat thing about vinyl is that I don't really need to attach it, because when I put my other parts on there, they will keep this in place. So the first thing that I'm going to put on is my square of my alternate color. And because these are opposites, I'm going to put it over here, and I'm going to put it at an angle. So let me get the adhesive on the back. I need a little bit more than that. And I'm going to center it in the doily. All right, I'm going to have to hold the doily in place with one hand, and I'm going to move it down just a little bit so that the point measures that. Let's see if that works. Yes. Okay, so that's one part. Now I'm going to take the other square opposite, and you see how it's called opposite, and it gives you such a really cool effect. When I do the Zoom meeting tonight, I am actually going to use black and white. It's really curious as to how that might show up. Okay. Well, Linda, if your card front is showing, it doesn't matter, because I even thought myself I might cut these shorter so that there's a little white edge. So I don't think it's going to affect the design at all. So I wouldn't do it. All right, now the next two, so you're going to leave a tiny little space so that your background shows through. And these are going to go right on the line that connects the two, like that. Okay, so let me get this other half on there. In fact, maybe, Linda, maybe tonight I will readjust my cutting so that a little bit of the background shows. Okay, and now I'll go for my, hi Mary Jo, and now I'm going to go for my other triangular piece and put it on the bottom side of that square and leave just a little bit of the background showing, like that, and then take my yellow one and put that right here. So it's right totally up against, and there you go. There's the opposite. Isn't that neat? I just loved that. I found a sample. Sometimes when I'm just sitting, I go through Pinterest or, different sites to see examples. And I saw this example and I thought it was kind of stunning. And I thought, I wonder what it would look like with printed, and I like it. I don't know how you guys feel. So now I'm ready for my sayings. See how simple this card is? And what do you think about the doily on there? I think I really like that doily. And I did try it on the other side. It just didn't show at all. So it's kind of cool to have something over here that's not over here. And I thought of maybe just a white doily over on that side and a vinyl on this side. Vellum. Okay, so I think I'm going to pop up the saying. So I've got my dimensionals right next to my place. Thanks, Donna. It was fun to figure out. So I'm going to put the happy birthday right down here. And then this is from the designer paper. And it's just, I just spent like 15 minutes and cut out a whole bunch of these using the dies. And now I have a whole set of little pansies. And I could put the pansy in here. I could put the pansy over here so it overlaps both of them. I could put the pansy there. Who votes for in the middle? Anybody? Or should I put it by the saying? If I put it in the middle, okay, if you're really careful, sometimes you can pick up dimensionals. I'm going to put the happy birthday right here. And I'm going to put that in the middle. I really like that. Okay. I know it covers up part of the opposite part, but it just completes it, in my opinion. There. So there you go, your opposite card. And here is the one that I started on Tuesday. And I used the opposite papers. So on this side, I used this design. And on this side, I used this. And they just didn't look right to me. So I went with the more solid colors. So I picked up the red on this side and the mossy meadow on this side and did that. And then I thought maybe a white square behind that, picked it up. And once again, I put one in the middle. May your days be merry and bright. So a very simple Christmas card. And then I could put some extra strips of the paper inside or stamp a little message up at the top. So that is our opposite card. Now, if you happen to make one, then come back on the Stampin' with Sushi site and I'll have a little entry that says post your opposite cards here. And I would love for you guys to post the card you make on there so everybody can see them. And that's it for Friday. That wraps up a week. So next week is also going to be Pansy Petal Week. Look for an email if you're on my email list. And if you're not and you want to be on my email list, send me a message with your email address. But look for an email coming that is going to advertise my next online class of the month. And it features the pansy sets. It features the designer paper, the dies. It doesn't feature the stamp set because I'm not allowed to have a class where I send you the supplies. I'm not allowed to have one that has stamping on it. That's copyrighted by Stampin'Up. All right. Well, have a wonderful weekend. I know it's supposed to be pretty warm here, so stay cool and come back Monday for another simple card with a new template. Until then, hi Sherry. Until then, have a wonderful time, and I will look for you next week. Bye-bye.